Staff Sergeant Wanda Solomon, United States Army and United States Air Force, Afghanistan. Folks, I was in Anchorage, Alaska this month, 16 years ago. It was 2009. Interviewed almost 24 veterans up there, World War II. I don't know if I got a Korea veteran, but Vietnam, Iraq, Afghanistan. And Wanda was one of these amazing people of that area. The first time I went to Alaska, loved it, the great frontier, the last frontier. She's an Athabascan Indian, of all things, and native Alaskan, and is still serving in the military. She said she's going to retire at the end of the year, almost 30 years of service, 28 years. And just an incredible story. It really is a great story. And the continuation of my Women in War series here. So as an Athabascan Indian, in the Air National Guard, she started in 1997 in the Air Force. She joined the military. And 5 years in the Air National Guard with the Air Force, and then transferred over to the Army National Guard and has spent the rest of her career in the Army National Guard. Her dad retired from the Army National Guard, and she served in air transportation and in public affairs. Just a great, interesting story. She was around combat, saw the results of combat, was ready to fight if she had to. You'll see some great pictures after this introduction. So just what a blessing to be able to share her story. And like I said, she's still serving. She's with the 176th Air National Guard in Anchorage. So, but just a proud veteran of our country, and just still in service. I was really happy to hear that she's still serving. So, wow, thank you. I want to thank Angie Simmons and Rita Schultz, two women that have helped sponsor some of these Women in War stories. Thank you, gals. So appreciate you and your support of my work and helping get these stories out. The Women in War stories, they're very important. They're very cool. They're interesting. From World War II, Korea, Vietnam, Iraq, Afghanistan. And I just want to thank both of you again for your support and your love for our country and our veterans, and hope to keep working with you. Hope you're having a good summer. But back to Wanda. She served, like I said, with the 176th Air National Guard unit there in Anchorage. And in 2012, she went to Afghanistan, her second tour for 6 months. Her first tour was 2004, 2005, was away from the family for 12 months during that time. So the price for freedom, folks, and just so glad to bring this story to you. If you'd like to sponsor a story or donate to my work, there's information in the video description of every video I do. In the comment section, some of you that are new to this channel, I don't monetize. I don't like commercials. I hate commercials. So when you send me videos, if they've got a lot of commercials, I probably won't watch it all. I feel it's very disrespectful and very distracting, especially if you're sending me something of value that has importance to it, and to be interrupted several times with a commercial. So I don't have that here. Thank God I don't have that here. So, but if you'd like to help donate or sponsor a story, I'd be glad to have you do that. I encourage you to do that in the comment section of the video, in the video description, or go to larrycapetto.com and click on the donate link. A lot of people do that. That's where my radio station, Voices of History Radio, is featured on my homepage of my website. You can also download a free app, Voices of History Radio, on the Google Play Store, and listen to the programming. All the stories here are over there on the radio station. So it's another world of listening, another way to supplement learning about history and the things that we do. Would love to get that more into the hands of our kids too. So, okay, folks, let's end that. Again, let's honor Wanda and her service to our country right now. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel, do so. And send me a comment on these videos. I love reading your comments. I reply to as many as I can. But what a blessing, serving my God and my country through the lens of my camera. I'm busily writing my book, Capturing Courage on Camera. It's going to be out on Veterans Day this year. Might say a prayer for me, because it's a lot of work. It's a difficult task at hand. But I need to get that out. And I'm wanting to do this for almost 15 years now. And I'm happy to document my travels, my journey. An incredible journey it's been. So, all right, folks, God bless you. Thank you for watching and listening and sharing these stories. And I'll talk to you in my next broadcast. start your service with the Air Force?
30 years old, so 12 years ago.
So did you obviously enlist? You wanted to go in the military?
I wanted to go into the Air National Guard.
Was there a reason, or was it family reasons that maybe you have family in the military, you just wanted to serve your country?
Both wanted to serve my country, and my dad is a retired Army National Guard.
Excellent, excellent. Tell me what is it referred to as an MOS in the Air Force, like in the Army Military Occupational Service?
It's an AFSC, which is...
What do you do?
I'm an air transportation journeyman right now.
You've been doing that for 12 years then?
No. I joined the Air Guard in 1997 was my first time, and I served in the Air Guard from 97 to 2002. 2002, I went to the Army Guard because I wanted to get into public affairs and something different. And I got tired of the commuting, so I went into the Army Guard and served in the Army Guard over in Afghanistan. And then in 2004 to 2006, served in overseas, and then left the Army Guard in 2008 and came back to the Air Guard.
So you were deployed in Afghanistan in the Army Air Guard?
Yes, Army National Guard.
Okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
when was that? What year was that?
2004 to 2006.
So how many months were you overseas?
12 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, was that hard?
No, not just being away from family.
That's the hardest part for you?
The hardest part was being away from family and not having the support of friends and family, being in a very stressful situation. That was the hardest part.
What was the climate like over there?
On a typical day, no, sir. On a typical day, it would be 85, 90. Some days over 95, but an average of about 90, 88, 90 daily.
So it wasn't the real intense desert heat then when you were there? Or?
When you got out like myself, when you got out into the mountains, went on convoys, it ended up to be 115 in some places, other places 120, to where the asphalt just melts on the runway, you know.
So Afghanistan versus Iraq, I mean, we're fighting in both places. Were you around any of the combat in Afghanistan, and how bad was it, or how bad is it today? What's going on over there?
Afghanistan wasn't so bad when I was there, but now it's a lot more fighting, a lot more roadside bombs, yeah.
A lot of stuff going on.
Yes.
Has Alaska lost a lot of troops over in Iraq and Afghanistan in the last 6 years? Or anybody from your units, or anybody from the local Guard units, or anybody you're aware of?
Just a few people that I knew that were Army Guard, but I wasn't in their unit here from Alaska. There was at least 4 or 5 people in one unit. 4 to 5 people here from Army National Guard at Fort Richardson.
So when you were over there, I'm assuming anywhere would be harm's way, but I mean, were you ever attacked or anything like that happen, or did you see the insurgents or whatever who was fighting over there? I mean, did you get that close? Or?
Yes, my job is a unique job, so I got to see all aspects, whether it be sitting in the war room or out in the field. So we got to go on convoys. Oh.
Was a hardship on you? I mean, I'm not after any locations. I don't even...
Yeah.
So you won't hear those questions, but I'm just trying to feel you out as far as what you were around. I mean, you know, when I ask questions about, you know, the combat, or, you know, if you were around casualties, did you help anybody that was hurt? Did you even see a casualty? Some people went to Iraq, they never saw anything, you know, and I'm not after that per se, but that's part of war. See, my whole focus when I'm talking to you is the flag, is the patriotism, is why you're serving your country. And I want that to come out. I mean,
exactly.
I want to see, I have yet to interview somebody that said, you know what, I didn't like serving my country. Nobody has ever said that to me out of 700 interviews in 6 years. So
wow.
I'm after that part of you of why you're doing this, and then talk about women in the military. So but as far as Afghanistan, I mean, you said you had a unique job. Expound a bit. I mean, you saw a lot of stuff, or you didn't see a lot of stuff. I mean, were you around? Were anybody in your unit hurt, wounded, or killed? Or
there's a few of us that got in firefights over there, a few of the females, but I wasn't there. They were stationed at another base, but They were qualified for the combat badge because of the firefight. Yes, I was shot at myself, So I've been around there, out in the mountains with the troops, and got to see what they did on a daily basis and the hardship and the lives. They actually had a more harder time out there, the infantry guys and the soldiers that were on the front row doing the shooting and actual combat. Whereas I was going along as a public affairs specialist. So my job was to concentrate on photos and stories and trying to get some unique stories.
So you've been home long enough before and after deployments. You hear the news media, how they report what's going on over there. What are they not reporting? What's going on that we're not hearing back here?
You're not hearing all the good stuff that's going on over there. Like they say, bad news sells faster than good news. So one of our jobs over there was printing, publishing the Freedom Watch magazine, which I've brought copies home for myself to share when I came back. But we go out and get stories, and all the things that we did, the soldiers that are doing over there, building a women's center or building a kids' playground or building schools, those kind of things that are not reported. So there's a lot of good news and a lot of good things that we're doing over there that's not published.
That's what I wanted to hear. I know there's good going on. A lot of the troops tell me they're rebuilding, they're doing all these things, and you don't hear that on CNN.
No.
That bothers me. So, and they're making it look bad.
Mm-hmm.
Probably trying to turn our country against the war effort, but it happened in Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had too many stories documented to bring that fact out, and I hope that doesn't happen today. But are you proud to serve your country?
Yes, I am very proud to serve my country.
Tell me what it means to serve your country as a woman, just in general, and tell me about what patriotism means to you.
Patriotism means getting up every morning, going that extra mile and putting on the uniform and feeling proud about doing that, and going that extra mile knowing that you're doing something that's going to make everybody feel, a lot more comfortable of who we are and who we are. And coming from a background where my dad served in the Army National Guard, I saw his dedication and loyalty to his troops, and he was a first sergeant, and everybody looked up to him. And I kind of wanted to be that kind of a person where, people admired and for his hard work and his dedication. So he taught me a lot about loyalty and being a woman and being from a native Alaskan background, Athabascan Indian. It's not something that the normal Athabascan lady will go out and do, is put on a uniform and go through basic training and go through all that physical training to do as a career.
What does the American flag mean and represent to you?
The American flag means there's people that have died for our country, and it symbolizes that we are coming from a very proud, independent country, and we need to carry that on. And that flag, it means that there's people that have shed blood for our freedom, and I feel like being a part of that.
How about the word freedom? I go into schools a lot. I talk to kids and I say, you guys don't know what freedom really is because you've always had it.
Mm-hmm.
I've talked to people that were prisoners of war,
Mm-hmm.
where they had their freedoms taken away from them. I've talked to people that were in the concentration camps in World War II. They've come and they've lived in this country. They know what freedom is because they were deprived of it. But what does freedom mean to you, Wanda?
Freedom means to me, like when I was over there, I had a routine, I had things to do all day long, but that was my job. I had to do it. I couldn't just go out and go to a job 8 to 5 and come and go to lunch whenever. I was told to go to lunch when we had the time. So being able to live in the civilian world and going, okay, I'm going to go to lunch at 11 a.m. When you're in the war zone, they send you to lunch at 9, and so you feel like your part of your freedom is taken right there because you're on a strenuous schedule. You're on somebody else's time. So you kind of feel like a little bit of your freedom or your choosing of your daily activities is taken away. And to me, that makes me feel good because somebody else is enjoying that time to be able to choose throughout the day what they can do and when they can do it.
Tell me about the importance of women serving in the military.
Women have a lot to bring to the table. We don't see enough, I feel, from the Alaskan Native culture, but there is some women serving overseas, whether it be the Navy. There's my cousins now serving in the Navy, in the Air Force, in the Marines, in the active duty Army. For women to serve, they have a lot of talent. They bring patience to the table. Officers, more so, I admire the female officers. I've watched them overseas and how they are organized and know what they want and how to set out their schedule for a day and how they're going to run an infantry unit or so forth. But I've seen women pilots over there fighting in combat. It makes me proud to see another woman in uniform flying us around in the helicopters or Chinooks.
So how have things changed over the years from maybe World War II to today, and a woman's role in the family and the work environment and now in the military? Do you think there's been a change, or could women have served back in World War II? And no, there were some, don't get me wrong, but it seems like it's more prevalent today, and I have no problem with it. I think it's great. I want to put together a segment called Women in War.
Mm-hmm.
And I would hope that some of what you're telling me today would be included in that. But do you think it's different than it was 60 years ago, or is it just that we have changed as a society or accepted it? Not that it was wrong before.
I think more so we've accepted it as a society, and now that military now is more volunteer service, so a woman, is more accepted to join the military. So times have changed. Years ago, it wasn't looked like, society didn't accept that. They didn't look at a woman as running around with a weapon or flying an aircraft. She was more to be home and cooking and taking care of the kids. Nowadays, she chooses to go into the military, so it's more of a volunteer, and I think we bring a good aspect to the war as, being organized and knowing that we can fight right along the men just as well.
What was the hardest situation for you in Afghanistan, or the worst thing that you saw over there?
Responding to some guys that got killed, responding to some of the Afghan guys that got killed in combat, and that was the hardest thing that I think I endured. And seeing, the guys dead and traumatized, because you think about them, they don't have no insurance, they have no medical for their families to be taking care of them, whereas I think that's the thing that affected me the most, was seeing those guys die and thinking about their families, that, who's going to now take care of their wives or their kids. Whereas us, we do everything we can to take care of our soldiers.
Talking about the Afghans that were killed?
Yes.
Yeah. So who are we fighting in Afghanistan?
Al-Qaeda, the Taliban enemies.
Are they referred to as insurgents or
Insurgents.
words like that? Do we know who our enemy is? I mean, in World War II, the Germans wore uniforms, the Japanese wore uniforms. How do we know who we're fighting? Isn't that what's hard over there, is with the uncertainty of that? You don't really know who the enemy is? Or is there a uniform defined enemy over there?
I really can't answer that,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I know in Vietnam, the Viet Cong,
Mm-hmm.
they were plowing the field during the day,
Mm-hmm.
and at night they'd pick up rifles and shoot at them. It's
Yeah.
kind of plays with your mind
Mind.
type thing. But you mentioned those who are traumatized. I mean, how are our troops coming back traumatized? Is it affecting them? I mean, again, I'm basing some of this on what the news media reports, And I think that's very underreported in this area, the post-traumatic stress issues. And did you see a lot of that over there where people were struggling with that, or was the morale pretty high when you were there with everybody?
The morale there was pretty high when we was there, but you know that there was some that were suffering just from being away from family, but you know that when they came back and saw other things, that things really don't sit in right away. The after effects of PTSD, you just get through it at that moment and at that time, and it's the after effects of coming home and trying to fit back into society and fit back into a civilian way or being around family again. Those are when the symptoms come out more so. Seems like to me. So.
Well, when you read the little article in the paper here about what I'm doing,
Mm-hmm.
what were your thoughts and why did you call me?
I thought, wow, a way to get our story told, a way to know that there is good that we're doing over there, and that some of it is not, none of the good stuff is reported. I mean, we hear all the bad stuff, you know, and when I first came back from the war, it was like my friends and family had been so persuaded by the media that we didn't need to be over there. So when I came back, it was like they weren't so much blaming me. They were like, "We need to be out of there. What are we doing over there?" And so I would like try to explain to them, so I could see both sides, why we're there and why we shouldn't be there, you know. So that I had a lot of my friends were upset at the fact, you know, that we were over there fighting this war.
I don't think I've interviewed anybody serving today that, unless they were lying to me, that was opposed to what we're doing or why we're doing it. They follow the orders of the commander in chief, and that's good enough for them. I'm assuming you feel the same way. So, and I admire that. I mean, but so you're wanting to tell me some of the good. I'm giving you another opportunity. Is there more you could say? You've said some things, but I want to get it out that there is good. War's not good, but there's good happening over there.
Yes, there's good happening over there. Like, I think the thing that I try to put into perspective is when I got to see the women and the kids over there that were sitting there that didn't know if they were going to eat for the day. And then when you go out in the area over there where we're working, and we build up a women's center, and the women have now some place to go and take their kid, and they can have something to eat, or they can all share together. Whereas when I got to see the other side, there was a woman that sitting on the side of the street begging for $1 or begging for food for her kid, and she would be holding her baby, and your heart goes out to that, you know. Whereas I had couple of Afghan guys that worked for me too, and their family, you know, was home all day long, and they worked with us, and you think to yourself, their family's everything. And when they had an emergency at home, they had to rush home and take care of their family was the first thing. But you think about it, they don't really have all the same riches and wealth that we have. So you have to admire and help them out how you can. If you feel that, hey, they need to get home, you know, their house is being attacked or their home, and so there's a lot of money that we put in over there. I think that I've seen the good of, like, schools built up, playgrounds. We got to go out and see the women's and children's, you know, places that, like, centers they've built too for them that were less fortunate, and roads into some of these villages.
And you're again with the Air National Guard?
Yes, sir.
In Anchorage?
Yes.
What's the number of battalion or group or whatever you're with? 173rd or what is it?
I'm with the 176 Air National Guard. It's coolest Air National Guard base. We are, it's a couple thousand of us here. My unit is very small. I think less than 100. I'm new, cause I just came back from the Army Guard, so I'm new back into, just this is like 6 months, 7 months into it now. So I'm getting to know everybody. I would say maybe less than 100 of us in my unit.
So what do you do? Are you full? You're reserve. You're not full time right now.
Yes, sir. I'm right now. I'm on active duty
Oh.
orders. I'm on active duty orders, but I'm really considered part time.
So what do you do during the week when you're not with the military? Do you have a civilian job that you have?
No, I'm just making the transition.
Okay.
I came from the Army Guard, was doing a full-time job. Now I'm over at the Air Guard getting training on active duty orders, yeah, temporary.
What's your rank?
I'm a staff sergeant.
Okay, excellent. So when you think you might get deployed again?
It's possible. I'm hoping.
Oh, do you want to go again?
Yes, I
Can
would
I ask
like.
why?
Because I feel like we're doing something, like I said, I feel like we're given, doing something for our country and for the freedoms of those that are less fortunate over there. I mean, I've seen things over there where they don't even have no tissue, no paper towel, and then we come back here and we are such a wasteful country over here that we have the pleasures of having tissue and paper towel everywhere. And so that's one of the things that's stuck in my mind. You know, I feel like helping out the less fortunate and doing like a patriotic, service to my country.
Well, that's a good thing. Yeah, you sound like you're very career oriented. This is going to be a career for you, obviously.
Yeah, yes, sir. When I joined, I didn't think it was going to be a career, but things change.
Why did you wait 30 years? Did you want to join when you were 20, maybe, or what prompted you? Just it was time to do it. You weren't,
I think when I was younger, well, I wanted to get through college, and I didn't know how the military was going to get in my way of getting through college. So I put myself through college first before I said, okay, I can try this now, the Air National Guard, and see where that goes, or, see what, it'll offer. And so I felt like I wanted my goal of getting a degree done first.
Great. Well, it sounds like you're doing well with what you're doing, and you enjoy it, and
Yes,
you're
sir.
serving our country. I want to thank you for serving our country.
Thank you, sir.
Do you know? Do you ever study Vietnam? I mean, the way they came home, they weren't welcomed home, and the bad things that happened to the Vietnam vets. But I think today we've learned that lesson, and we know how to welcome our troops home, and I think that's a good thing that's happening today. But if there's anything else you think about, you want to share, let me know now. Otherwise, I don't have a whole lot more questions. I'm not after the blood and guts of war. I'm after the personal side, and being a female in the military, I think that's very unique still. I don't know how many women serve in the military percentage-wise, but is there 10% women in the military, do you think? Or?
I would say I could only probably talk for Alaska, but then over there too, I would say it was a 35%, 65%. On the base that I was located, of a base of 5,000 people, I would say that percentage was about that.
You ever lived anywhere else or just Alaska?
I've went training elsewhere, at the most 3.5, 4 months at a time. Had to train up in Hawaii before we went over to Afghanistan. Stayed there for 3.5 months and trained with the active duty guys and infantry guys and Guam soldiers, because they got stationed with us over there in Afghanistan. So we stayed over there and then went from Hawaii on over to Afghanistan.
How do you survive the winters here? I mean, obviously you do it all the time, but is it tough?
Well, growing up in Alaska, you just know what to expect at what time of the year. You know what you need to do to keep busy, what you need to do to get through the winters. You got your sports that you engage in. For me, I'm a snow machiner, so there's that time of the year where there's not enough snow on the roads and the mountains to go riding. So, but it's like you're looking forward to something. So that wait for the snow is just the long part. Some of the fall weather can get cold. And
do you like the summers better?
Yes, I am enjoying the summer.
Yeah. Doesn't get too hot here though.
No, it does not get too hot. Not as hot as Afghanistan and in the mountains of Pakistan.
Yeah.
So.
Great. Well, I don't know what else I can ask you. You feel okay about the interview? If there's anything else you want to share, just do it now. Because, this is the opportunity about
Like, yeah, I said, like, all the good of what we're doing over there is not reported. We saw all the bad stuff. I think the good ought to be brought out more so that they'll see our efforts, and, you know, the media wouldn't be so persuaded as to why are we wasting this much money, or why, you know, this or why that, you know, or I think more so that's changing, though. In the last couple of years, I've seen it's more of an accepted thing now. More, it's like, okay, we're at war. We just got to accept it, you know, and we got to accept our commander-in-chief's decision to be over there. Because what they see over there and what we see over there in the news are two different things as far as being over there and doing the job over there.
And part of what I want to bring out in a documentary with others like yourself talking is some of the good. I mean, we're not going to focus on the bad. I mean, combat is combat. It happens. It's terrible. It's nobody likes it. But then you got to talk about the good. Just like Vietnam, you know, everybody thinks of Vietnam as being so bad, and it probably was, but there was some good, and we've lost sight of that. I wish the media sometimes would just stay out of it. I don't know how you
Yes.
feel about it. You work in public affairs, so I mean, how can I say that to you? But I think that if it's not going to be reported accurately, I don't know why they take their time. I don't look at that stuff. It doesn't sell me, so I don't know.
I think the thing about it is my job was to take care of reporters coming in and out of the base to it. So it was kind of a situation. Okay, what kind of news are you focusing on? You know, we start talking to the reporters. You know, but they already had their own agenda of what they were going to report on, what they were going to photograph. So you really didn't have no say over what they could do or what they were going to do out in the field. And, you know, they could bring back some bad stuff and some good stuff, but more so, like we said, bad stuff sells faster. I mean, you know, so my job was to help the reporters come in and get them out to the bases too, and then get them back in on the flights, and then bring them to the gate and say, see you later, have a good trip back home. So, and doing the organization of their schedules, you know, trying to help them, tell them where they're going to stay, here's the facilities. So our job was very interesting in the fact where we dealt with people, with worldwide reporters from around the world, CNN, ABC, Fox News, you name it. So I enjoyed that because I got to meet people from around the world that you see on the news now. Barbara Starr from the Pentagon Channel, and it's like, hey, you know, and then it brings back ideas. That's what I remember, that person.
But were they reporting the bad stuff even though they were nice and friendly, but were they still going back home and reporting the bad stuff, you think? Or?
More so, I think I saw other countries reporting some of the bad stuff, whereas our own reporters, I think, more tried to concentrate on the effects on the soldier and what we were doing there. So that's what I saw more so of.
So your official title is what again?
I'm an air transportation.
Journeyman.
Yes.
But you're doing public affairs, or you were doing public
I was
affairs?
doing public affairs as an MOS in the Army National
So
Guard.
you don't do that anymore?
No.
So if you got deployed again, you wouldn't be in public affairs?
No, I would be, I think it's an air transportation apprentice. I'm not a journeyman yet, I'm still apprentice, yes. Yeah, so I'm new into the career as being air transportation. So if I got deployed, I'm hoping to go either as air transportation or public affairs. I would like to do that again. I enjoyed that field.
Well, I hope you have a say-so and you can do what you want.
But I think more so you need to think about your training that you need, because I need the training right now as apprentice, air transportation apprentice. So
Good for you.
that will give you the training and the experience over there, whether for your next rank, you know. Teach you a lot more, being hands-on.